Hi everyone, my name is Craig Clark and I want to welcome you to the Driven Podcast. Once again, I want to tell you all thank you for tuning in and for listening and for supporting my channel. What I want you to do is please leave some comments, because I'll ask you questions all the time, and if anything's intrigued you, if anything you've heard is really touched you or affected you in this any way, just let me know. Just write down some in the comments below, as well as just let me know. Just send me emails, whatever it is, whichever way you're going to get in contact with me, let me know, and I'd appreciate that. Not only does that help my algorithm, but also it's just good to know the feedback of people. So what I wanted to speak to you about today is a situation that I had a few years ago, probably talking about 15 years ago. And in this situation, basically, I got scammed, I got robbed, whatever you want to call it, that's what I got. And so what had happened was, and it's not just one, there's been a few occasions, but I'm going to try to explain to you the few occasions that this happened to me. So what I want to explain is basically I got jacked, got robbed, however you want to put it. It happened to me. Basically, I went to buy some Jordans online, some Air Jordans online, and this isn't recent, you're talking about 15 years ago. I went to buy some Air Jordans online. Also, it happened with me with some TNs and some Vapormax as well. But I'm going to explain the Jordan. I'll probably explain the others as well. But what happened was I went online to buy some Air Jordans. I bought them. When they received, it just wasn't what I expected. To give you a bit of background, when I was growing up, when I was younger, we didn't have that much. We didn't grow up with all this, like, with a lot of money. My dad was a minister. My mom, she was sewing, as well as she was working in nursery and different things like that. And so there wasn't a lot of money. And so what happened is we had to do without a lot of the times. We couldn't afford it. Basically, parents would buy stuff that they could afford for me to wear. They weren't into buying all these big trainers and shoes and clothes, expensive clothes and that. They just bought stuff that we could wear. And at certain times, we didn't even have that money for that. There's a few times I can remember that, okay, when I think I got in a fight and my coat tore, and my mom just had to sew it up and send me back to school again with the same coat the next day. Or sometimes I'll fall over and there'd be a hole in my trousers, and for the next week I had to do with the hole in my trousers if I didn't have another pair of trousers, until she bought another pair of trousers. There was times where we'd walk around on our shoes like they were talking to us just for a little while. It wasn't deep, just until they could afford, or they could put, you know what I mean, find a way to get us the clothing that we needed. And so with that being said, that should set the stage of how we were when we were younger. But we couldn't afford all that stuff. But what was happening is, at that time, trainers were popping. This was the popping time of the 90s, where trainers were just popping. And so we had all the trainers, like, okay, all the Air Jordans, my favorite Air Jordans of all time, 11s and 12s, they've been re-released. But nowadays, but back then, they'd just come out. I remember the Jordan advert that came out for them. And because I played basketball as well, this was in sync with me. This was what I wanted. And so I'd see certain people have these trainers, and we couldn't afford them. We could not have them. And yet again, I was getting teased for me not having the best of trainers, or even having a good pair of trainers. You know, at certain times I was wearing plimsolls. If I was playing basketball, there were probably some kind of odd Reebok that nobody's ever seen before. They did the job, but you know what I mean, nobody, and they looked lame. Or they were a running trainer or something like that. They weren't nothing of high value that people were wearing and liking. So, but I'd appreciated it at the time, but I didn't appreciate it because all these people, I was seeing everybody with the Shaq Gnosis, the Grant Hill feelers, you know what I mean, the 11s, the 12s. Everybody's wearing these like Air Force. I wouldn't say Air Forces at that time. Nobody's really wearing Air Forces. I'm trying to remember the flights. So the Nike Air flights and stuff. Everybody had all these trainers on, and we couldn't have it. So I was getting teased and made fun of. I was getting teased anyway for other things, but this was one of the things that, like, yeah, back in them days, and especially in the school I was in, it was one of those things. And so the little things we did to make ourselves feel better around that time, we did. I'm not saying I was the most well-behaved child, I'm not saying I was the worst either. We were good. We were good kids, but we couldn't afford these things. And so what happened is, obviously, you grow up, you start earning money. I remember started working a job when I was 12 to go and buy little shoes or trainers for myself, and you know what I mean, just having a little bit of money in my pocket. But when I got to a point where I got a bit more money in my pocket, I remember buying my first pair of Nike trainers. And at that time, I remember that when I bought the trainers and was wearing them, we moved and whatever not, I was still wearing them even though I had a hole in the front of them. I had to still wear them because we didn't have money like that, and even though I was working, we didn't have that money. And so trainers are quite important to me. And the reason why I'm thinking about this today is because I kind of like, I've just bought a pair of trainers, and they're probably a pair that I wanted back in the day, not my 11s or 12s, which one day I'm gonna have to go out and fork out and go get. But I tried to, I bought, well, I bought the Nike Airs. Now I've bought the Airs, the ones with the big AIR on the side. I bought a pair of them, and I think that just brought back the memories of me wanting a pair of trainers when I was younger, and then me wanting to buy the trainers at a certain stage when I had enough money, I'd saved up enough money, and for I could buy the trainers. But then what happens there, that is that I didn't receive what I wanted, because, okay, so if I'm breaking it down, what I went and did was, at the time I saw a pair, I had a bit of money, I was working a bit of money for, you know what, now I'm feeling like I'm a bit more relaxed with money. Let me go and buy these trainers, because these trainers, they've been on my mind for like how long? They've been on my mind since I was like, what, 14, 13, 14. So I need to get these trainers. It was so bad in my mind that when Michael Jordan was doing the advert, he was doing like the crossover, and then he did the spin. I actually incorporated that into my game when I was playing basketball. So imagine that's what these trainers meant to me. I was so going back. So years later, about 15 years ago, 14, 15 years ago, probably about that time, 2011, 12-ish. Yeah, about that time. Let's just say 10, 11, 12, around that. Anyway, around that time, I went and bought some trainers. The way I did it was I saw online that, okay, I started looking, but I saw online that they were doing a sale on this website. And I checked out the website. It looked official. It looked okay. They were giving away different types of these trainers. And I thought, you know what? Let's just do it. It says Air Jordan. It looks like the right set. Everything looked good. But it was a little bit of, it was a sale. So obviously there was a discount on. Nike don't discount your Air Jordans. So that was a lesson for me to learn at the time. So I went out and I spent the money, paid for it, came back like about a month later. The trainers came, and what happened, I received it. I was looking, I was waiting for it. A month later, these trainers come. I was like, cool, trainers are here. Let's just open them and let's see what I got. So I've opened these trainers in this box. I was like, but there's only one. Maybe the other one will come later. I've opened the box and it's official. It is the proper Michael Jordan, like the Air Jordan box. When I opened it, both shoes had bust into one box. So I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right to me. This doesn't look right to me. But because of my hype and my excitement and everything, I looked past it and thought, right, let's take these out. Let's have a look. So I've taken them out. They looked official. At first glance, they looked official. I'm happy. I'm looking. I'm waiting. I'm watching. And you know what I mean? I'm showing my family. I'm like, oh, I got these. Cool, cool, cool. Everybody's like happy because I'm happy. And then it kind of dawned on me to just look at it properly. And as I'm looking, like, there's something just seems off with the way they look. And I just didn't feel premium to me. There's something off. And that's a warning, really. Like, obviously, just from the website alone should have been a warning, because if there's a discount on something, just know you can't get things you want on a discount like that. It doesn't make sense. So I've looked at it. I've paid. Well, how much did I pay? I remember paying about 100 and something pound. It couldn't have been that much. about that much. So let's just say it was about that much. But that's for the two of them as well. You're looking at, was it for the two of them or was it each? It might have been each. And that was a discount. So imagine that was like, that's nuts, that's crazy. So I have looked at it. Okay, there's something wrong. What's wrong with this? What's wrong? So the closer I inspected it, I noticed that number one, the box was a bit, the fact that the two shoes were in the box, that shouldn't be, you know, even though they looked good and everything, that shouldn't be. Number two, in the 11s, you got the shiny bit that goes around the shoe. That looked like no matter what you did, it didn't poke out. It looked like it bent in a little bit. So let's just say that's the shoe, like that, like there's the bottom where the rubber bit, and there's where the laces will come up here. This bit was always dented in, so I'm putting it this way. This bit was always dented in a little bit like that, and no matter what I did, it just couldn't come out. It would not come out of it, and so that was an issue. Like you didn't notice it at first. You thought maybe because they stuffed it in the box, maybe like they shouldn't be stuffing it in the box. I don't know why they've done that, but I'll find out about that after. Let me look at the shoe and enjoy the shoe, and that's not the case. Anyway, on the 12s, where the string, so where the shoelaces, they go up into some gold like notches to hold the shoestring in place. That was plastic. It wasn't gold. And I was like, yo, this is something off. You shouldn't feel this off. The feel that is supposed to be of leather did not feel like leather. It felt like something else. And then one of them, I think it was the 11s, the Jordan sign just looked a little bit off. It wasn't fully, there's something a bit off. So just the fact that I saw that and I was like, yo, I remember actually going to the gym with my cousin. He was my training partner at the time. And we go to the gym like 3 to 4 times a week. And I remember bringing him in the car, took him to the gym, and then after the gym, I was like, showed him like, yo, come, cousin, let me show you this. Sit down. And then I took out the shoes and bam, bam, what's wrong with these? And he looked at them and goes, oh, those are good, man. You got your 11s, you got your 12s, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you know what, they're fake. He goes, nah, they're not fake. They don't look fake. They don't look fake. Oh my gosh. It's like, no, they are fake. Like the bottom of the shoe looked good as well. But I remember on the 11s, there's a little like racing flag thing on there. It didn't look right. There's something odd about that as well. There's a whole bunch of things that I could go through, but yeah. But my cousin couldn't believe it, you know what I mean? And so I went back on the website, tried to get a refund, no emails back. They did not want to hear back from me. I couldn't hear, no matter what I did, I wouldn't hear back from them. Couldn't get no refund, nothing. It was just airplay. I got airplay from them. So that was with that. The next time it happened was with some Vapormax. And so I remember, so I don't know, I'd been bitten. I think this is a few years later. And so I had the Vapormax and I said, okay, I went on eBay because I know somebody that sells trainers on eBay. And, you know, they're doing really, really well for themselves by selling all these trainers on eBay. So I thought maybe I could go on eBay and buy trainers. People get like fresh trainers and all that. So I saw some Vapormax, the black ones, black on black, but it looks a grey colour and they got reflective stuff in there. So I thought, you know what, let me do this. So with these ones now, it's on eBay. So I thought, you know what, I don't have to pay as much probably. So I must have paid something about like between 80 and £100, something like that. So I've gone in to pay for it. It's arrived and I've opened it. I was like, yo, why do they feel like this? Why does the air bubble feel plasticky? Like even when I put them on, like they're making squeaky noises. And I was like, nah, it's happened again. I got jacked again. So, you know what I mean? They didn't look like the picture as well. You know, they're a little bit off and stuff. So when I complained about it to, was it PayPal? I might have done it through PayPal, this one. I complained for eBay and to PayPal, I complained. And both of them denied me because I gave 2 different reasons. Number one, it don't look like the same. And there was another reason why as well. I said that they were fake. So I gave the 2 reasons and they said, there's nothing you could do about it. You just have to accept it. At that point, I was livid. They dropped it, but I was livid. I was livid. Anyways, going to the next stage, yeah. So the next one I think I did, and I can't remember where I got this one from, but it was the TNs. Now, these were like, they had the TNs, they're not the average, they had a small tick on the front. So let's say that's the shoe. Yeah, let's say that's this side shoe. Yeah. That's the front. Looking at it, yeah. If you're looking at it downwards, this is how the front is. It's got a tick that goes there, yeah. Anyway, so I've got to buy so don't get me wrong, I've got some official trainers. Not all of my trainers were, you know what I mean, but what trainers have I got on me now? Yeah, so let's just say, no, these are my stepsons. These are his 11s, but I haven't got mine. Yeah, I need to get some for myself. You know, I've got official trainers. I've got a lot of official trainers, and I've got some Jordans outside and stuff. But just to say that I've got some trainers, official trainers, because I'm giving all these stories of trainers that like, I'm giving all these stories of trainers that like I got jacked up, but it's only these. Okay, it's only been these, because since then I've made sure I've gone to like either Foot Locker, or right now I'm buying a lot from Zalando, getting some good deals and good trainers on there, and they're official. So that's me. But yeah, so the TNs, I can't remember what happened, but where I got them from, why it wasn't official, but it was online. So when I went to buy them now, they looked different because they were reflective. The ones that I wanted were reflective. They had the Nike tick was reflective, and so and it was black on black. Yeah, so it looked really good. It had the TN on the back and everything. I thought, yeah, that's gonna be sick. So spent, bought, received. They looked good. They didn't look like the picture, but they still looked good. And then on that, I was looking at it, it's like, yo, these are fake again, because the material's not cross-matching. It all looks like one thing and stuff like that. And I was so annoyed. I was annoyed. I got scammed. So that's 3 times with 4 different pair of trainers. So that's me. I got scammed. I was lied to. I was naive and excited. It was an emotional buy. So especially the Jordans, they were the most emotional buy. Okay, the Vapormax, I just needed a pair of trainers fast for something, I think. And so when I bought them, they weren't good for what I wanted it for, because obviously they're fake. And then I didn't ask advice of people that, like, you know what I mean? And I don't think I learned from my lesson. Like, normally I learn my lesson. If something happens to me once, it's not happened to me again. And I got bitten again. I'm just saying this. So I learned the lesson. I learned that, number one, buy from official places. Yeah, you have to pay the price for what you want. Yeah, and go by the reputation of the place you're gonna buy from. Like, there's no shortcuts in life, so you might as well just get used to it. You have to pay the price. These are the lessons I've learned from this experience. This experience has taught me a lot, and I feel like I'm going to have to make sure that I pass these lessons on for people to just know that you have to learn from your experience. There's no shortcuts in life. There is none. And so this has even looked at me for me to say, I need to build my reputation so people know that Craig doesn't take no shortcuts in life, that I don't actually try to, like, I'm trustworthy. Whatever you get from me is sound knowledge. And so it's going to be tried and true. It's going to be something that, if I'm giving you something, you must know that this is something that you can actually take away, you'd learn from, you can take away from me. And this is what I'm trying to look at, and I'm trying to put this through to you guys as a lesson that I've learned that maybe you can learn from as well. So, like, I'm forced to look at myself, because I don't like being robbed. Yeah, and I'm not the kind of person to go out there and rob people. I've got a bit of a weird history and past because of certain things, and I will share that with you in time to come. But I'm not going to go out there. I'm not going to rob people. I'm not going to, like, you know what I mean? And so if that's how I felt. I don't want other people to feel like that. So my thing is, I'm looking at myself and say, am I robbing people of their time, of their energy, of their resource, of their money? What am I robbing people? And this is something that I want to look at. Am I false? Am I being false? You know what I mean? What are people saying about me? When I turn my back, are people talking behind my back? I've had it where people have done that, and I don't like people that do that anyways. But do I give people the correct reason to do that and say, yo, there's something odd? Yeah, I've had a bad experience with somebody talking behind your back, and really they were in a situation where they could say anything they want to my face, but they didn't. They chose to talk behind my back. I don't rate that. I don't rate that in the slightest. You know what I mean? So that's why I say that. And to look at it, am I living up to my full potential? Because if I'm living up to my full potential, then I can't be false, because I'm giving everything I'm supposed to give. Are you robbing people? Yeah. Are you living as the fake person of yourself, a fake version of yourself? You can't live like this. So you cannot be a counterfeit of something you want to be. You have to be originally you. Yeah. A lot of people, or manufacturers, or say fake manufacturers, will go out there and try and make something. Look, when those, what are they called? The Balenciaga trainers. So a long time ago, I had a blog, and this blog was a fashion blog. And I ran adverts through it, and I was making a little bit of money here and there off it, yeah. But I remember also I put the so there was a link to another fashion page where people could link through to tap the fashion page, and they'd be able to buy whatever they want, and then I would get a commission off of that. So I made a bit of money off of that. That was good business, that was. And I may have to start that back up, because I was just showing the products, and then people coming through and say, yo, and they're spending like $400 or $500, because it was high-end fashion. So they were spending 4, 5, 6, and my commission off it was about 3% for every sale that went through, maybe between 3 and 5%, depending on what it was. So if people are spending £500, I'm getting, you know what I mean, and it was quite good. But anyway, I digress. So, and those Balenciagas came out, and before I knew that before everybody had them, I was looking at them and saying, those are gonna sell like hotcake. In actual fact, I want a pair of those. I didn't buy them, but if you look at it, yeah, every other fashion designer has now followed that kind of sock trend. Like the Nikes I just showed you now, those were before that Balenciaga. Those are the original sock, but they had a tape over the front to hold it in place. Those are the ones I wear to the gym, so they might look a bit musty, but those are the ones I wear to the gym. So, but what I'm trying to say is that you cannot be the knockoff. You have to be the original version. So you can only be yourself. You can't be what somebody else is telling you to be. You have to be yourself, because what happens is, if you're able to connect with the person you are inside and be that fully to its full extent, then what's going to happen is you're going to be a light that's shining, that people are going to gravitate towards, and they're going to want to either be like, they want to be around, they want to like have something to do with you. And so what I'm trying to say is, don't try and be somebody else. Now, there's loads of other people like who have podcasts, who are on YouTube, and who probably speak the same things that I speak, but I'm going to try and do this to the best of my ability, to the way I know how to do this, because I know I've got a certain way about me that probably will connect to people that other people can't connect to. And by me being me, I'm being the realest and the most authentic version of myself. Even the fact that I'm rubbing my nose all the time, look, always rubbing my nose. And sometimes that gets me in trouble, but I can't help it, because the way I talk, and then obviously what happens is the blood rushes to the front of your face, and the first place you want to itch is your nose. Yeah, sometimes you feel like you might have something falling out my nose. There's been times, okay, let me let you off and let you onto this. There's been times on past videos where I've put something in front of my face, like a picture or something, to hide, because I've had something dangled from my nose, or something hanging out my mouth, or something to that degree. But I've had to do it because obviously I don't want people discouraged from my video. But I'm going to keep doing what I do, because I want to be the most authentic version of me. But what I'm trying to say is, looking at that, how I felt when I was scammed, I don't want anybody else to feel. And so I don't want them to feel that about me, that they've been scammed. I'm trying to be the most authentic version of myself so that people won't feel scammed when they look behind the curtain and say, you know what, I didn't know this side of Craig. You know, I don't mind that. If people don't know my history, fine. And there's certain parts of my history I will hide from people because that's just my. But as for me being me, yeah, I'm going to be me. And what you see is what you get with me. You know, I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm not trying to be the most flashiest person. I'm not trying to be the most humble person. I'm just trying to be me. And so I will say that to you, to be yourself, to feel open and free to be yourself. And that's the only way you're really going to get somewhere in life, with being yourself, and you can draw a different kind of crowd or see things that other people can't see. But if you're not being yourself and you're trying to be somebody else, you're going to be a knockoff version of that thing. So I've got like how many different people that do podcasts, and I could watch them and I could do exactly the same as them, but I'm just going to be a knockoff version of them. I want to be me. So I'm going to shape the podcast the way I want to shape it. I'm going to do the podcast the way I want to do it. I'm going to do YouTube videos the way I want to. I'm going to actually, you know what I mean? There's more that I want to do and that will come out of me in regards to content and stuff like that. But I'm going to do it my way. Why am I going to do it my way? Because not all of you are going to connect with me. Not all of you. I'm not going to be screaming all the time. Sometimes I might come on here and I might come out here and start shouting and start talking a bit more aggressively because I want to get a point across. But there's going to be other times where I'm going to chill. I'm going to sit back. And I'm going to talk to you because I'm going to talk to you like, you know what, me and you, we're party. You know what I mean? But Padres, we party. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get through to you guys. You have to think about, I'm thinking about how I felt when I felt deceived and you know what I mean, this deception that came through from somebody that should be reputable, and even when somebody should have repped me as well, because eBay and what's the other one I said? Yeah, they should have repped me, but they didn't because they found fault and they didn't want to go back to this person, or they didn't want to give out money, or whatever it was. I wasn't represented properly, and to tell the truth, I let myself down and other people let me down too. It's not right, but it is what it is, and I learned the lesson. So this is the thing. The thing, I don't mind this because I learned the lesson. If I didn't learn the lesson, then it's a different thing, you know, totally different thing entirely. But I learned the lesson, so it's on me now to make sure that, number one, I never go through this again, and number two, not to let other people go through this again. Well, not to go through it again, because everybody, I can't help what other people do, but not everybody. No, I'm not to make other people feel what I felt or experience what I experienced through my hands. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of this. These are like my core values that I have. These are one of my core values, like stuff that I don't want people to feel what I've felt in a negative way. If I can save you from that in one way or another, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to try my best to make sure that you feel that you know that you don't have to go through the things that I went through to learn the lesson that I learned. And my parents have always told me that I've been that person, that I've always, instead of learning the lesson from them or to talk to them, or I've had to go through it and learn it for myself. Fine, that's just who I am. But I'm trying to make sure that I don't pass on any kind of negativity. So that's what I'm giving you from this podcast today. You know what I mean? Are you slacking at work? You know what I mean? What are you doing with your time? Is your boss happy? Yeah? Is your husband or your wife or your partner, is your family, your friends, are they happy with you? Are you giving like 100% to yourself? Or are you giving 50 or 60% at your work, at your job, for your family, for your friends? What are you giving? The results will tell. It's the results that tell every time. I felt cheated here because somebody wasn't giving me what I was supposed to, what I paid for. But then again, you can't get what you, if you don't pay for it, if you don't go to the right place, if you don't pay for it properly, you know what I mean? If something's too good to be true, usually it is. But what I'm trying to say is, you can't be, number one, a counterfeit, and number two, you can't rob people of you. You know, if you're getting paid for a job, give that time and money and effort into the job that they're paying you for. If you feel like you're being underpaid, Go get a better job instead of slacking off, so you can give that 100%, so you can develop yourself and go into better places and do better and be better for yourself. There's no use just trying to live life and just float along. Sometimes you have to give that extra effort. At work, I'm actually being pushed. I'm being pushed. But you know what? It's for the best, because I'm learning. And even now, there's stuff I need to complete and do. And because I've got so much on my plate, I'm not able to. So I'm going to have to take time from somewhere else to complete something. And this is something that's beneficial to me. I'm not just talking about someone doing more for my job. Yes, you should be doing more for your job because you want advancements, you want to move on, you need to move up. But what I'm trying to do is actually going to benefit me in the long run. So therefore, I'm going to take the extra time out to go do this thing and then come back and I'll be a warrior. I'll be better. There's stuff I can add to my CV. I'll have this much more knowledge. So this is what I'm looking at. But I think I'm babbling on now, which is a good thing with a podcast. But at the same time, I think I need to end it right here. But I hope this has touched one or two of you and that you're able to get something from this. And I know there's more I'm going to expose and do and get through to you guys, because there's so much. I've got so many more experiences and little things that have happened to me along the way that I want to share. So thank you for listening, and I hope this is beneficial to you. Okay. But like I said, have you ever been in a situation where somebody scammed you? How did it feel? Okay. And did you get justice for it? And do you feel like you are not giving 100% of yourself to your job, to your family? Is there something holding you back? Just let me know. I'll be intrigued to know. Anyway, like I say to you all the time, guys, thank you for listening. And your success is only a few steps away, honestly. So just take the time out, find out about yourself, and go get what you need to get to move on to the next level. All right. Peace out.